Radioactive, the Karen Silkwood mystery. Welcome to another fascinating episode of Best Podcast, where we dive into the stories behind the most gripping podcasts around. In today's episode, we're talking about Radioactive, the Karen Silkwood mystery, a podcast that explores one of the most chilling and mysterious cases in American history. This investigative podcast is dedicated to the life and death of Karen Silkwood, a labor union activist and whistleblower who exposed safety violations at a plutonium processing plant in Oklahoma in the 1970s. Silkwood's life was tragically cut short when she died in a mysterious car crash on her way to meet a New York Times reporter, leading many to believe she was silenced for trying to expose the dangers of the plant's practices. The podcast, hosted by Barbara Hager, meticulously uncovers the story through interviews, archival material, and expert commentary. It dives deep into the shadowy world of corporate malfeasance, government cover-ups, and the tragic death of the woman who stood up for what was right. The show paints a vivid picture of Silkwood's courage and the ripple effect her actions had on the nuclear industry. What makes Radioactive so compelling is how it blends investigative journalism with suspenseful storytelling. It doesn't just focus on the details of Silkwood's death, but also explores the broader implications of the case on environmental activism and labor rights. The podcast makes you think deeply about the price people pay for speaking out and challenges you to consider how far the powers that be will go to protect their secrets. A standout moment in the series is the exploration of the conflicting reports surrounding Karen Silkwood's death and the mysterious circumstances that have kept the truth hidden for decades. It's a gripping, real-life mystery that leaves listeners questioning who is truly responsible for her death. If you're a fan of true crime, investigative journalism, or stories that shed light on real-world injustices, Radioactive, the Karen Silkwood mystery is a must-listen. And don't forget to join us next time on Best Podcast for another deep dive into an incredible podcast.